guys, it is Jen with Mother Time. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to take you along as I do some crafting. I'm going to do some new busted canvases. I shared some busted canvases back in the fall that you love. Today I'm going to do ones that have like a cottage style spin on them, so I cannot wait to show you those. Then I recently saw this idea for like this open book craft that looked so cool. The one that I saw had like a Christmas theme to it, but I'm going to do one that's like a cottage style theme. So I cannot wait to put my spin on that and show you how it turns out. So grab yourself a hot cup of coffee or a hot tea, sit back, relax, and let's get to crafting. Okay, my crafty friends, before we get started, I would like to take a minute and thank my friends at Craftsy for sponsoring today's video. As you guys may know, I love Craftsy. I've been a member of Craftsy for years, and I love sharing them with you here on my channel. I learned a lot of my quilting skills thanks to Craftsy, and I actually still refer to those videos often when I need a refresher because they are so helpful. If you are not familiar with Craftsy, Craftsy is an online community and resource where millions of crafters, makers, and DIY enthusiasts find creative inspiration, advance their skill, and learn new ones along the way. Craftsy offers more than 2,000 exciting classes in over 20 popular categories like sewing, crochet, knitting, painting, cake decorating, baking, and so many more. The classes are broken down to easy to follow lessons, and they are led by friendly, award-winning instructors who share their creative wisdom as they provide step-by-step demonstrations. Not only do I love their quilting classes, but I love learning new skills. My daughter Eden and I have been having so much fun discovering new classes, and I know you guys are going to love them too. Recently, I have been taking some sewing classes on Craftsy, and they have been amazing. The other day, I did a thrift flipping class in how to upcycle fashion finds, and it was so much fun and inspiring. The Craftsy classes include step-by-step instruction, plus what I love are the helpful downloadable resources to make learning easy. The classes are great and helpful, and I love that I can do it when it's convenient for me, right in the comfort of my own home. I can pause, rewind, rewatch when I need to, and take it at my own pace so I really grasp it. The classes are broken down into short, easy to follow lessons, and Craftsy's world-class instructors will inspire and encourage you through every step of the creative journey. Craftsy is for everyone, from the beginner crafters to the masters of their craft. If you are looking to try something new and learn a new skill, Craftsy is a place for you. Members get unlimited access to thousands of inspiring classes. I am so excited for you to join Craftsy too. The first 1,000 people to click on the link in the video description will get a full year of premium membership to Craftsy for $1.49. That's huge compared to the normal price at $123. You can go to go.craftsy.com/mothertime2 or scan that QR code here so you can join Craftsy today. It is so much fun, and I know you are going to love being a member of Craftsy too. So again, the first 1,000 people to click on the link in the video description or scan the QR code will get a full year, yes, a full year of premium membership from Craftsy for $1.49. That is a deal you do not want to miss. And again, a huge thank you to my friends at Craftsy for sponsoring today's video. First, I am going to prep the book for the book craft that I want to recreate. The book that I'm using is actually from Dollar Tree, so if you're interested in recreating this too, check Dollar Tree. You may be able to find this book. I like the size of this book. Of course, you can use a book that you have on hand. Check the thrift store, but I just found this book at Dollar Tree, and I'm like, this is the perfect size for this craft that I want to recreate. So I'm opening up the book, finding the center, just kind of eyeballing it, making sure the pages look even on each side, and then I'm gently pulling the book back just to kind of loosen up that spine a little bit so the book is easy to work with. And then once I got it all adjusted the way I want, I'm going to be taking some Gorilla wood glue. You can use whatever kind of wood glue you want, but you want to use wood glue. And I'm going to start by gluing the front and the back of the book together. So I'm just going to take some wood glue and then press the one side down and then do the same to the other side. I'm going to do the other side, so I'm adding some wood glue to the back cover, and then I'm going to press the other side down. Ultimately, most of this book is going to be covered with some sort of wood glue, and then once it dries, it's all going to be hardened. Wait till you see. This is a really cool technique and a really cool idea. So now I have both sides glued together, but of course I need to glue some of the pages too. And I'm using just a crock that I had on hand just to kind of add a little bit of weight because it does take a little bit of time to dry. Then I'm making a little bit of a wash with some of the wood glue and some water. And I'm just going to go over some of the pages just really roughly, not doing every single page, that would take forever, but just going through every few pages and adding a little bit of that. It's glue and then just a little bit of water, just kind of not as thick, but then I do go in with a thicker coat of just using the wood glue too. And I'm just trying to glue it all down, and you'll see at the after it dries how it kind of turns out. But just gluing it all down, going around the pages, and then I'm kind of fluffing the side of the pages too, just kind of spreading them out a little bit as well, just fanning them out. Going on with the other side, then using my crock to weight it down because this takes a little bit of time to dry. So I'm using that wood glue wash that I made with the water and the wood glue, going throughout the pages and just lightly adding a coat, not too much, but just so it all sticks together, and then definitely doing it to the side and then the front of the pages too, getting it all coated with that wood glue wash, so then it will take some time to dry. Now I also want to take some of the pages on the front and roll them up. So I'm just using a paintbrush. You could use a dowel, whatever you have on hand, and I'm just rolling up the page, and then I'm adding some wood glue to that roll, holding it for just a minute, and then pulling my paintbrush out, and look at how it curls up. So I'm just doing that to the corners of the pages, and then again, once I have it all rolled up, I set it aside overnight to dry. This is how it looks after I curled the pages. Now I'm going to go over the top of the book and make sure I have all of the pages nice and coated with that wood glue. And then, like I mentioned before, I'm going to set this aside overnight to dry. While the book is drying, I'm going to move on and make the busted canvases. I'm going to be sharing two versions with you today, a spring and an Easter themed one. Now I have these printables from Etsy. I will link those below. I'm using two 8x10 canvases from Dollar Tree, a stretched canvas and then a canvas board. So first I need to cut my images down. These I'm going to attach to the canvas boards, and what I'd like to do is I add a coat of Mod Podge, then I'm going to let them dry, and then I'm going to attach my images onto them, and it makes it nice and smooth without any wrinkles. So if you don't like doing decoupage with the Mod Podge and getting the wrinkles and you haven't seen this, this works wonders. I love doing this method for when I'm attaching things to with Mod Podge. So now I'm adding a coat of Mod Podge to the back. I'm kind of jumping ahead a little bit because since I have my Mod Podge out, I want to kind of just add another coat so this part can dry too. So that was the back of the stretch canvas. So now I'm back over to the canvas boards that have dried with that Mod Podge. Then I have my image. Look at how pretty that one is. I take a piece of parchment paper and an iron and I go over that image, and look at nice and smooth, no wrinkles. Oh, it just makes it so easy. So I'm doing the same thing here. I add my image to the top of where I had that Mod Podge that dried, take a piece of parchment paper, and then my iron and I iron it on, and basically that iron heats up that Mod Podge and it's nice and smooth. So now I have this paper again from Etsy. You could use scrapbook paper, any kind of paper you have on hand, but I found I love this combination. So I did the same thing, added a coat of Mod Podge, let it dry. Now I have my paper. I add parchment paper, then I'm using my iron, and that is going to adhere that to the back of the canvas. Now it's time to work on the front of the canvas. So I have some more digital scrapbook paper that I got on Etsy that I printed out, adding my Mod Podge. I'm going to let that dry. I'm just using my dryer to speed it up. And I was going to add a little bit of color to the side. So I wanted to do that before I actually put the print on there. And I was using some like an acid, I think it was a Tim Holtz. I don't even remember what it was. I didn't like the color, so I'm just painting it. I wanted to kind of just do that before I added the scrapbook paper on there. But I ended up in the end actually using ribbon. But once that's dry, I'm going to take my paper, then I put some parchment paper on top of that, and then I iron that on. It's nice and smooth. And then I'm just taking a little bit of sandpaper. I'm just using my little sander that I have and just going around the edges. And I kind of like that little bit of that rough edge a little bit. Gives it that distressed look. Also smoothes the edges out. So now I'm doing the other canvas. So I added my scrapbook paper and then my parchment paper, and then I'm just ironing that on, and there it is, nice and attached and smooth. Doing the same thing with my little sander, just going around the edges just to smooth it out. And now that one is done. So they are both done. So now I'm going to find where I want to bust through the canvas. So I kind of just look at where the picture image is on the other canvas, so I know where I want to make the hole. And then I just make some slits in there. So I just kind of make a little hole and then just cut some slits to go around, and then I'm going to bust through literally with my fist, but I'm just using some scissors. There I go with the bust through. And then I'm going to gently curl it up. I'm just going to use a paintbrush again. It'll curl easy without even using that. Then I'm going to hot glue the little curls that I'm making as I go all the way around. Now, I have shared before a very in-depth step-by-step tutorial on how to make busted canvases, and I will link that video in this video description so you can check that out too. There's free printables that go with that. I share how to make a fall, Christmas, and Halloween one, and I really take you through the whole process. This one I speed it up a little bit. So now I'm taking my little sander and I'm just sanding the edges of the canvas, just because some of it is a little jagged, but then when you put it on top, look at how beautiful that is. Don't you love it? So now I'm taking my glue gun and going around the edges of the stretched canvas on the back, and I'm attaching it to the canvas board, and boom, look at how pretty that is. It is so pretty. So now I'm doing the same thing with the second one. So first I want to make sure I'm putting the hole where I want it. It's, going to be kind of in where I really want to see the image coming through. Doing the same thing, cutting some slits, and then busting through. And then I'm going to roll up those little triangles, just kind of gently rolling them up, attaching them with a little bit of hot glue as I roll that back. And then I will attach this canvas to the canvas board, and this one is just so pretty too. Like I mentioned before, you can use scrapbook paper, you can use printables. I'm using digital printables that I got on Etsy, and I printed on cardstock on my home computer. I love doing that because you can really customize, and there's just so many options of doing that. Sometimes when you go to the craft store and you go to the scrapbook section, you're a little bit more limited, and by doing this on Etsy, you can find so many. I get lost on hours trying to find different patterns, so I will link all of this. So if you want to recreate these too, you can easily make these, and that's a great thing too, by just getting the downloads and then printing them on some cardstock. So like I mentioned before, I first painted the edges, and then I have this ribbon from Hobby Lobby that is the perfect size to wrap around the edges of this stretch canvas. So I'm just using some hot glue to attach the ribbon around the edges, and then just taking my little sander again, that is getting a lot of use today, just going around the edges and just making sure it's nice and smooth. I absolutely love this one. Oh, don't you now? This is the fun part, is embellishing it. So look at all of these fun embellishments and accents I have. So I decided for this one to use these metal little corner pieces I found at Hobby Lobby. I'm just adding a little bit of hot glue. And then for this one, I thought it would be really pretty to use these little handles that I also found at Hobby Lobby. So I'm just hot gluing those to the ends of this one. And then I just made a little bow with this extra ribbon that I had torn from another craft project that I did for Valentine's Day. Just added a sweet little bow to that one. And sometimes less is more. And if you want to hang it, you could add a little hanger too, but I'm just going to put these on a little easel. And then I had these little keys, and I added it to some more of that ribbon that I had ripped up. And I just love the keys on there. I just wanted to use these keys so badly. They've been in my craft stash forever. Oh, I just love the way these turned out. And I could have added more, but I just love the simplicity because there's so much detail on these. And look at how beautiful these busted canvases turned out. Love the rabbit printable collection. There are so many great prints. I just had to adjust the size. This is another print that was included that I printed on cardstock, but then I also printed on a drop cloth, which I've shared before. I just tape a piece of drop cloth to a piece of copy paper, and then I feed it through my inkjet printer. You do need an inkjet printer. And then I have the image on my drop cloth, and I'm going to make a cute little pillow, and I'm just doing a no-sew pillow. I love that frayed edge, using some hot glue to glue the two pieces together, add a little bit of stuffing. You could even hang it. Look at how cute that is, but I love it just like this. These make little bowl fillers to tuck anywhere. I'm also baking another one. Now, I originally had a different idea, but then I decided to stamp it. Had I thought of that before, I probably would have stamped it before I glued it, but it was still no big deal. But same thing, this is just plain. I was going to kind of do like a little painted ticking stripe on it, but I decided to use my IOD stamp here instead. And look at how cute that turned out. I love making these drop cloth pillows because there are just so many things that you can do. You could do it for so many different seasons. Just with the drop cloth, I frayed some ribbon, hot glued that on, and a button. And look at how cute these pillows turned out using a drop cloth. Images I used for the busted canvas and the pillow come in a set like this. The one for the pillow is even smaller, so I need to crop it so I get just the image I want. So I am using the cropping tool in Photoshop. You can do something very similar in another photo editing like Canva. And then once I crop the image, I adjust the size, so then I have the image I need for these projects. Now it's time to move back to the book. The book is good and dry. As you can see, it's very stiff. The pages aren't moving. I decided to paint the cover of the book. Why? Because you're really not going to see it. It's going to be in the back, but I know it's there. So first, I'm just using some white chalk paint. I'm just covering the cover of the book. Then I'm going to let that dry. And then I decided to add another coat of brown paint on top. And the reason I'm doing this is once it dries, you'll see it kind of just gives it a really cool distressed look. And so I just wanted to do that to the back of the book. So I'm just adding that, letting that dry, and then I'm going to go around the edges of the front of the book too, which you'll be seeing once it's displayed. There it is. You can see just how it looks. Really, I just like that distressing that it has. So I'm also going over with my white chalk paint over the pages as well as the little curls I made. I add a little bit over even on the top pages, even though I'm going to be covering that with some of the Mod Podge and the scrapbook paper. Then of course going around the edges with more of that brown paint too, just so it kind of matches the back of the book. And then here is the scrapbook paper I'm using. This scrapbook paper is from Hobby Lobby, and I'm just cutting it down to size. I do recommend cutting it first, before you even do the curls and everything, cutting it, before you even really get into this project. Then I'm taking some Mod Podge and attaching it to that page, and then just kind of helping that curl again. So I'm actually recurling it a little bit, adding some wood glue to really attach it, just so it is nice and curled back up to where it was before, doing it to both of the curls. So I got my wood glue back out and just recurling that too, and then even taking some more of that white chalk paint and just going over that as well, so it all kind of blends in. And then I will get back to doing the other page again, taking my Mod Podge and adding a coat of that to that page, and then taking my scrapbook paper that I cut to size and attaching it to that page, and then recurling it so it all kind of blends in with the curls of the page too. This book is so fun to make, and I'm already thinking ahead for making these for fall and Christmas too. I decided to add a little dab of hot glue to the curls too, just so they're on there nice and secure. And then I thought I would add a little bit of rub and buff to the sides of the pages. First I added it, I kind of liked it, but then it wasn't what I envisioned. So I decided to then take a little bit of chalk paint and go over. And what I liked is that I still saw a little bit of the rub and buff. I didn't get rid of it completely, but then it added dimension by adding the other colors, adding more of the white chalk paint too. And I like the dimension it kind of created with doing that. And now I have more of those handles. I'm into the handles, I guess, on these crafts today. But I just thought it looked really pretty. Like the page, the book is open. So I attached the handles, and then of course I needed to use these keys again. So I attached some of the keys. And then I had just this cute little clip also from Hobby Lobby. I needed to use this on something too. I was going to use it on the busted canvas, but I loved it here. And then I had this little, it was a little postcard, part of the collection that the one busted canvas was from. And I cut that out, and how cute to switch that out or add a picture or something. And I wanted to add kind of like a bookmark. So I was trying out different ribbons, and I ended up just using a piece of torn fabric. I just like the way it looked there. And I love the way this turned out, and then just to display it on an easel is just such a pretty way to display and then change out things too. Okay guys, that is all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got some crafting inspo too. Give this video a big thumbs up if you did, and let me know in the comments what you enjoyed the most. You can also follow me on social media at Mother Time. Check out my blog, mothertime.com. And if you've enjoyed this video and you are not subscribed to my channel yet, don't forget to click that subscribe button so you never miss a video. Okay guys, thanks again for hanging out with me here today, and I will see you guys very soon in the next video. Bye guys.